a little bit chaotic, but when I came to Vietnam as an official foreigner, I needed to apply for really like a lot of things. It is challenging. The outcome is usually not what you expect. They are really skeptical. Different than in Germany. It's crazy. For them it's just chaos, why they are worried a little bit. Totally different from what I've imagined. Not the Vietnamese citizenship. The paperwork can be really tiring. The Vietnamese government is a little bit stricter. Vietnamese people are like really obsessed with social media. You don't need to plan anything. You start off with like without anything at all, take money, come to Vietnam and see for yourself. No need to have a big plan.
You asked for it and we're gonna give it to you. In today's video, we are going to interview a Viet Kieu who lived in Europe and then decided to invest into Vietnam. We're gonna go over how much money he invested, what he invested in, and also compare the work styles between Europe and Vietnam. So let's get started.
Hi, Josef.
Oh, hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So we're here today at Saigon water bus. We're gonna have some burning questions for you. Are you ready?
Sure. I'm ready. And are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So the first thing is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So let's start off with the basic things. So I'm a German guy who came here to Vietnam. So basically my parents were like Vietnamese, and this is also one of the reasons why I'm like really connected to this place. And I'm here for work-related reasons.
Great, awesome. So first of all, why did you came to Vietnam?
So I started an IT company like 3 months ago.
Okay.
With two of my co-founders, and we wanted to build up our IT force. And we started off in Germany, realized that there are like good applicants, but we wanted also to expand our workforce a little bit. And this is also one of the main reasons why we came to Vietnam.
Okay.
Where like really a lot of talents are here and there's like a lot of expertise and professionals.
When you first came to Vietnam,
Yeah.
how was your first impression?
So the first impression is definitely, I would say it's like spontaneous and a little bit chaotic. Like if you look at the view a little bit.
Yeah.
So for example, I think the road is a prime example for the nature of Vietnam. It is like really dynamic, a little bit of like there's like a balance between chaos and like structure and order, and this is my first impression.
Oh, okay. We're gonna backward about a little bit about your work in Vietnam. Can you tell us more about it? And also, we kind of like want to know how much you invest in this business in Vietnam.
Okay, so as I've said before, my primary business is the IT consultant business. And in Vietnam, we are like building up our delivery team here, meaning that these are like highly professionalized workers in like programming, and we are also specialized in the Microsoft technologies. So therefore, all of the experts which we are hiring here in Vietnam are like going into that direction. And the initial investment, like I wouldn't coin it an investment. In the end, it's just like we are paying the wages and all the insurance of the employees, and that's basically the investment. So currently we've got a team of about 10 people here, and we are expanding.
What challenges did you encounter as a professional working in Vietnam?
Well, there's like a lot of challenges, to be honest. So like usually people would answer with like culture, I think. But I would go even a step back and would say that, so I came from Germany and I'm really used to like bureaucracy and doing all of documents and stuff like that. But when I came to Vietnam as an official foreigner, I needed to apply for really like a lot of things. And that was like one of the biggest challenge to really to get all the documents straight and like going through all the legal and bureaucratic processes in the end. That was the biggest challenge. And the second one is obviously like culture. Like there's also always a cultural difference.
We just move a little bit. The bus is behind you. So which means that you have to adapt with the work style between Germany and Vietnam.
Yes, definitely.
Is it very difficult to do?
I would say it is challenging. Like the work style in Germany is like really structured in a way. So and Vietnamese work style is, I mean, all of our employees are really like hardworking and they are like delivering stuff, but the quality is really high. But the goal, like the outcome, is usually not what you expect, I would say.
Oh.
So there's like a lot of expectation management which you need to do. So let me give you an example. I realized yesterday when I went to a coffee shop that the tiramisu in Vietnam is not like a real tiramisu. So
Oh, really?
yeah, like the image is perfect. Like if you get the tiramisu, you see it, it's like beautiful.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say it's a tiramisu, it's more like a good chocolate cake.
Oh.
So the definition of the outcome is like totally different from what I've imagined. And that's the same as working with Vietnamese people, I would say. So the quality and the process is really good, but sometimes the outcome is like different than your expectation. So I needed to adapt to kind of streamline all the processes in that direction.
Let's talk a little bit about your parents.
Yeah, sure.
What do your parents think about you coming to Vietnam to work?
I mean, they are like, I would say it's normal for Vietnamese parents to be skeptical, so they are really skeptical about it. It's like working with, like working in a different country, which is like not really structured, not really like has a system. It feels different. So for them, it's just chaos. So they only see the chaos part, which we saw before.
Yeah.
And that's also why they are worried a little bit.
So we're gonna go to the bench. So it's quite hot in here. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah, let's go right here. Have you go to this water bus before?
To be honest, no. Like I didn't have time at all. Like I was really busy working a lot, like operating in our office, and yeah, so that's the first time I'm here.
So how long you will stay here in Vietnam?
I will continue to stay here for one more week, and then I need to. I've got an urgent flight in
Oh, really?
like next week for Germany, and then I will come back like 2 weeks later.
Can you compare life in general between German and Vietnam?
Oh, there's like definitely a difference. So like spontaneity is a difference. So for example, if you wanna work and live a life in Germany, you should have like a clearly structured calendar. So I mean, in Germany, it feels like you also need an appointment for your parents. So like if you want to visit, it feels like that. So sometimes it's like really that well structured that you really need an appointment for your parents, jokingly. And in Vietnam, it's more spontaneous. So like if you want to visit your friends or whatever, like you can just hit them up. And it's the same also in the business life. So I had a lot of like spontaneous business meetings where it was like totally different than in Germany. Because in Germany, you need to make an appointment like 3 weeks in advance, and everyone needs to reschedule their calendar. That's kind of like that.
Oh, it's more professional than friendly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Joseph, can you tell us more detail about the process from the beginning of your investment in business from Germany to Vietnam, and also why you choose Vietnam to invest in business?
Okay, let's start. I would say let's start with the motivation, like why I thought about investing in Vietnam. So as I've said before, in Germany there are IT workers and they're like high professional there, but there is not enough, I would say. And we needed to expand our workforce, like in the IT consultancy business, and that's the main reason why we also looked like to the left and to the right, in this direction, right and left. And it happens to be that we are also like people who have roots in Vietnam. So one of my co-founder and I am like a Viet Kieu, and therefore we also looked into the Vietnamese market to see whether they are like fitting high professionals here. We got some interviews, we talked with them, we saw their results, and they're really good. So that's the reason why we thought that, yeah, let's go to Vietnam and see what happens if we expand it. Then we went to Vietnam, we hired more people, and then it kind of rolled from itself. So that was the process. And while we hired all the people, we also needed to make sure that everything was like legally correct. So we also invested a lot in like all the paperwork, which is, by the way, a lot. To be honest, like as a foreigner, you really need to do a lot of paperwork. And that was like, parallelly, we did all of this. And yeah, that was the whole investment and the whole process, I would say.
So about the paperwork, how you can handle it? Like you have someone to help you in Vietnam, or you have some like lawyer, attorney to...
Yes, exactly. So we've got like 3 different companies who are like providing us with information and services. Why 3? Because, I mean, why not? Yeah, so I would always recommend before like really going deep into Vietnam to hire at least one like consultancy, which are like helping you out a little bit, because the paperwork can be really tiring.
So if you are like Joseph and many of our other thousands of clients who want to invest into Vietnam and have a long-term visa or stay in Vietnam, then feel free to email us and contact us. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, back to the video.
Talk about your dual citizenship. Do you have a Vietnam passport?
I don't have. Like, I had it before when I was like 14, 15 or something. And then I applied for the German citizenship there. And at that time, they asked me the question whether I wanna like swap my citizenship, and I did in the end. So now I've got like the German citizenship, but not the Vietnamese citizenship. And I also considered having like a double citizenship nowadays. And it is really hard, I would say, because from Germany's perspective, it is easy to have a dual citizenship, but the Vietnamese government is a little bit stricter in that regard. So like now that I have a German citizenship, applying for the Vietnamese citizenship is a lengthy process, I would say.
Oh, but you plan to have your Vietnam passport in the future?
Like I'm currently trying the process out and see whether it works or not, yes.
Oh, okay. So, all right, Joseph, what do you think about common stereotype we hear from the West about Vietnam?
Oh, I mean, the obvious stereotype is definitely that Vietnamese people are eating a lot of rice. Yes, they do.
Yes.
But if we are talking about general thing, I would say that all of them are really hardworking. Like, it feels like they are really hardworking, putting a lot of effort into it. And they are really, I would consider them really direct as a stereotype. And yeah, that's how I view all the Vietnamese people a little bit. And they have funny traditions sometimes, so.
So I think that you say positive about Vietnam. So what about any cultural shock that you have experienced?
Yeah, as I've said, like for example, the tiramisu example. So my culture shock, like I think there's like only like 2-3 culture shocks. So the first one is like your expectation is getting like a little bit mocked sometimes. So if you order tiramisu, you won't get a tiramisu most of the time. Sometimes you do, and it's the same for other things. So like sometimes you order this and you get this, but that's like, for me, different than in Germany. Like in Germany, you order this and you will really get this. So that's like one thing which I'm like surprised about.
That's just about food. How about interact with people?
Oh yeah, like interaction with people is, I would say, normal. They are really chatty in the end. So I would say it's more like maybe it's also like the Saigonese people here, but like in general, I would consider the people more warm. They are really chatty. Like it's easy to get into conversations with them, and yeah. So this is how I feel. Like it's not a culture shock, it's more like, yeah, they are like that. So another culture shock which I had was like really one thing, and that was that Vietnamese people are like really obsessed with social media, I would say, in general. So I always realize that people are taking a lot of pictures, videos, and they are on the phone like for such a long time. Like it's crazy. Like you go to a restaurant, and there will definitely be a group of people sitting there, not talking to each other, but they are like all on the phone, which is like totally amazing for me because I don't know this kind of culture in Germany. So it's
Oh,
like
really?
socially,
Germany doesn't have that kind of culture.
and not that hard. Like it's not that big, I would say. Like there are people who are like dependent on social media, but in Vietnam it's like a lot. And there's like a lot of like, let's say, therefore there's a lot of influencers and stuff like that. The people going around you see with the camera, you know they have a TikTok channel, they have a YouTube channel, or whatever is there out there on the market.
Do you plan to have your own TikTok channel for the company?
Like if I consider living here, maybe, yeah, maybe.
So, what do you think about cost of living in Vietnam? Are there things that impressively more expensive in Vietnam than in Germany?
I mean, in general, on average, the living in Vietnam is cheaper, definitely on average. But there are like many luxurious options which you can choose from. Like there are like really services which are like on the, I would say consider them in the luxury part, which are more expensive in the end.
Really? So, if you compare it with living in Germany, how was it?
You mean regarding the expenses or?
Yeah, the expenses in general.
Oh, in general it's cheaper, like way cheaper. Like the food is better, and it depends. Yeah, the food is better, but it's more cheaper.
So, what would you recommend people who plan to relocate to Vietnam? What are the things they should prepare?
It depends on the person. So for example, I am a really spontaneous person, so I didn't really prepare anything. I just booked the flight. I came here, and you
bring your backpack and then come to Vietnam.
Kind of like it's more like I bring my laptop, and then that was it. Because like you can arrive here, book a hotel for let's say 1 day, and it's really easy to get, for example, an apartment for like 2 months, 3 months, whatever, spontaneous. Like in Germany, you need to apply and the process is long. But in Vietnam, I feel like everything is like really spontaneous. So I would say that you don't need to plan anything. You can just come here and just do whatever you want. Like you can start living immediately.
All right, Joseph. I want to ask that is the German expat community here ready to help you during your business in Vietnam?
To be like, if I'm honest, I didn't have time to connect to them, definitely. Like I came here and started working immediately. I already had 2 networks, I would say. So therefore I didn't have time to really connect to the German expats community.
Like the network you create from German or?
From Germany. Like from Germany, I already had like some people who I could like connect to here in Saigon, and so
I think you should go to networking night in Bangkok. Like it's happen every Thursday from 5:30.
Ah, you mean that that connection? Yeah, definitely. No, I was there once. Yeah, definitely.
For people who are in the IT industry and want to open an IT consulting business, what do you recommend them? How should they start?
Yeah, it depends on how they want to approach the business. So I, for an example, like to bootstrap the companies which I'm doing, meaning that you start off with like without anything at all, like without a VC or whatever. So I would recommend to start like getting a project, like really straighten forward your profile, then getting your first initial project, and then start rolling from there, because the margin is really high in the IT consultancy business. So therefore I would recommend this approach in the end, like always. But if you want to, like if you have already an idea how you want to position yourself, what your product is gonna be, then take money from somewhere and then start it up.
One thing about work in Vietnam, I want to ask about your immigration status in here.
Yeah.
Like you take the e-visa or you have the work permit from your company?
So it's a work permit. So we went that way, and we also got like, so one of my colleagues is trying to settle down here as so one of my colleagues is as me, like a Viet Kieu, coming from Germany, and he married a good wife here in Vietnam, and he's also trying to settle down currently.
Do you plan to marry a Vietnamese girlfriend here?
It depends. He will also obviously lead our, let's say, development center here in Vietnam, and I will be more forward in Germany most of the time. So I will more be like the visit guy and sometimes come along, but I will mainly operate from Germany. So therefore there's like not really a lot of bureaucratic stuff from my side.
So there is no plan for living in Vietnam permanently?
Currently not. Like everything can change in the future, like you never know, but,
Okay.
Currently it's not forever. Like it's always like coming here, doing stuff and then going back.
About the investment in consulting business, I want to ask that how much investment is needed that you would recommend for people who want to open in Vietnam?
Well, it depends what their goal is in the end. Yeah, so if the goal is a bigger one, then obviously you need more money. But as long as you can pay the wages for the employee, then it's all fine, and then you can like calculate. Because like in IT business, I would say that most of the people can work remotely from home if you know how to like really operationalize it, and therefore the cost in general is like really low. You only have like really the personal cost, like the cost of the employees, and otherwise there's not a lot of cost in IT businesses.
So I have one more question for you.
Yeah, sure.
How can people who want to work with you or contact you?
Oh, they can just add me on LinkedIn. So you will find me under Hoa Josef. I think it's a really unique name. And the last name is Nguyen, obviously. Like, I think I should be Vietnamese as well. And yeah, you can find me and connect via Hoa Josef Nguyen on LinkedIn, or just write me an email. I will leave the contact information for Ken.
Okay, awesome. So that's it. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is our pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
So, do you have anything to say to our audience?
Come to Vietnam and see for yourself. Like, as I've already said, everything can be like really spontaneous here. No need to have a big plan. Just come here, visit maybe for 1 week, do your stuff, and then let's see what happens.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe I see you next time.
Yeah, see ya. Bye-bye.
What do you think about this video? Should Viet Kieu invest, and in what industry in Vietnam? Thank you for watching this video, but always make sure that you like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment below if you're looking to invest and what you want to invest to in Vietnam. And as always, make sure that you click on the bell for notifications. So on behalf of Duong Global, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.